All right. Do a quick audio test. Audio test. Audio test. Audio test. All right. Can you hear yourself? All right. Can
Hello?
you hear yourself?
I
All right.
don't
Can
know
you
if I
hear?
can hear myself.
All
I
right.
don't
Can
know
you
if I
hear
can
me?
hear myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just making sure your audio is picked up on the stream.
Oh, you went live?
Yeah, you told me to go ahead, so I was just doing a quick audio test.
Okay. Uh,
So
hang on, let me go there and see.
it might boot loop a little because our freaking microphone settings.
Okay. Mic test, one, two.
Yep.
Yep, it's working.
No boot looping.
I don't think so.
Sweet. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of The Situation Live. I am joined today with my co-host and partner slash owner, Gout Mister, and I,
Hello.
Unbearable Boss. We are here today once again talking about more situations that are coming up left and right. We got a lot to talk about and not a lot of time to talk about, so we're just going to dive right in and go off some
Yeah.
of our topics. We're talking about we're going to talk about the Iowa caucus, the Jeffrey Epstein documents, some of them being released, not really the full list yet, but part of documents and court cases have been released. We're going to talk a little bit about that. He knows a little bit more than I do about that. I haven't actually seen the paperwork yet. There's been a lot of heads being turned in Hollywood. Let's just keep it to that, just by talking about it. And what else? Definitely the Republican Party's scheme to rig the primaries once again. Definitely want to talk about that. And I think those are our topics for now. Do you got any more?
Yeah, so I got something that's happened in Papua New Guinea, which is just kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First thing I wanted to say though is an apology to anybody who does watch this. Normally we do Sundays, but
A
we
lot
had a
has
little bit
happened.
of issues. Yeah, a lot of things happened, so we were unable to get here on time. So here we are on a Tuesday night, on a work night, trying to get this done. So yeah, but yeah, no, the caucus definitely wanted to cover that. Um, yeah, the gosh, there are some court documents that were released um, in terms of the Jeffrey Epstein debacle that happened, and one of them was apparently the statements in it were recanted. So I'm not really sure why they even bothered, releasing that because I don't know.
I've been sitting here waiting patiently. I want to see the full list. Who the heck?
Yeah,
Who was on that
yeah,
island? I want to know.
yeah. So it is a little weird because supposedly they're supposed to release the full list. Had over 100 some odd names on it, and we've yet to see that. So, um, yeah.
I want.
Anyway, so the first thing I guess would just be jumping into the caucus. So I watched a couple of people kind of covering and talking about the votes as they were coming in, and it was a little weird. So they called it about 30 minutes in of the votes coming in, and not even less than 1% of the votes that they were expecting had come in, and they immediately just called it, which I thought was kind of weird. But there's some factors that do go into it, such as like prior polls and so on and so forth. So
It's definitely nice to see that the polls, at least in Iowa, have been accurate. Like they have done an honest job for once, and like ever since 2016, and obviously the all the things that happened between 2016 and now, between the polls, red wave versus blue wave, and all that stuff. It's hard to believe the polls. Like it seems like you think something's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen at all. So it's nice to see a poll
yeah,
actually be honest and depict what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was honestly a little surprised myself to see that it's pretty accurate. Because normally, like, you'll see a poll and it's like way off, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But oh yeah, it stayed pretty true. But so anyways, I guess to no one's surprise, really, Trump won the Iowa caucus.
And a landslide. Let me tell you, with 52%.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
What did Ron DeSantis have? He had like 23%. Nikki Haley had 20%, and Vivek Ramaswamy just had below 8%.
Yeah, which is a little sad because I was kind of hoping he'd do better. I think they thought they were going to do better as well. I know he's put in a lot of work. Yeah. He's tried to get his name out there, and I don't know.
He held like 320 something rallies, like more than all the other candidates combined. Like, he was campaigning aggressively. But I feel like it has a lot to do with trust. Like, a lot of people are kind of comparing this situation to Obama back in 2008. Like,
maybe.
Like, this up-and-coming nobody just shows up out of nowhere.
He's a smooth talker. He says everything you want to hear. Yeah, I could see that. Like, I don't know. But he does genuinely seem like a nice guy. But who knows?
I like him because to me, he reminds me of a younger version of Trump. He's not bought and paid for. He knows his way around politics. He knows the Constitution and the laws of the land very well. And I feel like he could take the MAGA movement to places that Trump couldn't even take it if he wanted to. But it is sad to see him bow out. But, like, even after he bowed out, he said that he is endorsing Donald Trump and that he will campaign for Donald Trump going into the 2024 election. So, to anybody out there who is convinced that Vivek Ramaswamy is just a lie or a con artist or whatever, I hope that rests people's minds, because why would anybody do this? What is the end game? This doesn't benefit him. If anything, it hurts him in the long run. I mean, look what happened to Trump after he became president. It hurt him financially, and it cost him a lot of business deals and ties and relationships when he was president. So, I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy is a successful businessman like Trump. So, I mean, it kind of hurts him in the long run. But obviously, he believes in this, and I really respect him for it. I'm really hoping. Please, Donald Trump, choose Vivek Ramaswamy as your VP. You two would be literally an unstoppable force.
Well, I don't know if he would. For one, Vivek said he doesn't want to be VP. He doesn't want to be second man.
At first, like, in the beginning of when he was running for president, he made it very clear that he's not a second place guy. But as we start getting into things, he slowly backed away from that. He's not answering directly. Even 7 days ago, he was asked that question in Iowa, and he didn't give a straight answer.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean,
I think he's more.
Who knows? Personally, if I had to choose somebody, it'd be Tucker Carlson. I would love to see him as VP. Dude's got his head on his shoulders, so. Yeah. But I don't know if that'll happen because
Tucker Carlson, he's not really a conservative. He's more of a classic liberal in terms of politics and policies. I do love a lot of things what Tucker Carlson has to say. But I don't see Tucker Carlson wanting to get into politics like that.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to have to deal with all of the paperwork and all of the 9 to 5 stuff. Because he's in a pretty good spot right now where he just kind of runs his own show. So, I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting to see, though. What was really interesting to see was the reaction of some of the other candidates having meltdowns. Like, Vivek was just kind of like, okay, that sucks. I guess I'm going to go ahead and drop out, support Trump. And the others were just having a meltdown. Like, what? You guys are calling it already?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a landslide win. Like, I understand it was like they called it when it was like less than 1% of the votes in, but yeah, there's more to it that goes into it, but anyway.
Yeah,
Uh,
if Trump can keep this momentum, then he will win in a landslide victory. I'm not saying like Ronald Reagan landslide victory, but
yeah,
definitely a close second.
yeah. I didn't know this. You brought it up while we were getting ready, but I guess Chris Christie dropped out
Yeah,
a day or two before the votes even happen, which is really bizarre.
call me
Like,
a
why?
call me a conspiracy theorist all day long, but I am convinced that this is another attempt at the Republicans rigging the primaries
Okay.
because a lot of Republicans really just want to go back to the George Bush era of the Republican Party, where it's tax cuts and wars. Because
So mostly rhinos. Then they're not real Republicans. They're what they call rhinos.
they were getting rich off of it. Like the only people
Yeah.
who were benefiting from the Iraq and the Iran war were these politicians because of the military contract investors that they had funding these guys. And it just really sucks. Like honestly, since getting more into politics, I have seen the darkest side of things, and to find out how this all really works is really disappointing. If our forefathers were here today, honestly, we would have another American Revolution to our own government, it feels like.
Yeah.
But after doing some research and actually seeing things unfold, I am convinced that the Republican Party, the establishment Republicans, are rigging the primaries again against Trump because even in 2016, they didn't want Trump to win because Trump can't be controlled. Trump's a multi-billionaire. He has money. He can't be bought and paid for. He can't be swayed. He's his own man. And that makes
Sure.
him a dangerous threat to the establishment. That's why
Yeah.
that's why they're trying so hard for him not to win again. And people are so fed up with Biden, even Democrats, hardcore Democrats are even fed up with him. And so many people were upset because Democrat Party's not having a primary. They're not allowing in multiple states other uh, Democrat runners to campaign against him. It's just the party that talks about democracy the most is anti-democratic. It's just it's just it's just so much. It's just so hard to wrap your finger around. It's just all. It's like it's like puppets being controlled. Somebody is pulling the strings, but I don't know who's pulling exactly the strings. Just from what I can see is the establishment forced Governor New Jersey Governor Chris Christie to drop out so his voters would go to Nikki Haley because they're trying desperately to make it a two-horse race. Okay, let's face it, Ron DeSantis, I like the guy. I love the work that he did in Florida. The problem is that's probably how far it's going to go. Cuz
Yeah.
he can't get a foothold outside of Florida. Hell,
Well, he's so low energy when it comes to, and I hate saying that because that's so dumb. But I mean, really, if the way he announced it was on some like thing like a Twitter space or whatever, and he just like yada yada, and he just like said it, and it was just kind of like okay, and it was just like oh, he's running for president. Oh, okay, all right, but. Yeah, he's just I don't know. He is very low energy when it comes to stuff, but
I don't even think Florida, even in Florida, his own state where he's had so much success in, like Trump is beating him in the polls in a landslide
yeah,
almost, and that says a lot.
yeah. Honestly, I wish Nikki would just drop out. We don't need her
They,
at all.
the establishment needs this. Nikki Haley is a puppet that the establishment can control, just like George Bush was. Because
Yeah,
people could say what they want. Dick Cheney was running the show. He was. You can't tell me otherwise. But that's why they want it down to a two-horse race. To if something happens to Trump, then they can force him out and push Nikki Haley in.
well, okay. The thing is it always comes down to that anyway. You that's kind of the whole purpose of the Iowa caucus to start, is to kind of weed out one or two people, and then they're going to have more, down the road, like debates and stuff, to kind of narrow it down to two, and then they'll get down to one, and then it'll be the incumbent versus.
But I feel like this time it is different because they're trying desperately to make this happen. And
Yeah. Well, from my understanding, it was they're trying to get rid of Trump
they are.
so that it can be Ron DeSantis versus Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley will probably sweep. I mean, I know Ron came in second in the caucus, but
Not by much.
10%, or no, sorry, 4%.
Not even. I think it was like 2%.
Yeah, so that's not a whole lot.
And the next, what is it? What's the next state holding the primaries? What's the next state coming up?
Oh,
New Hampshire?
Maybe Milwaukee, or hang on, let me find out. Let's see. It was New Hampshire, but apparently Trump and Haley declined to participate in it. So,
Why?
I don't know.
I guess that's a good thing for Ron DeSantis because according to the recent polls I saw, he only had like a 1% in that state.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, they want Nikki Haley to become president because she can be bought and paid for and be controlled. And it's just frustrating because I'm afraid of Nikki Haley if she becomes president. If she becomes president, I guarantee you we are going to go into World War III immediately.
Yeah.
Because she wants to go to war with everybody. She wants to go to war with Russia. She wants to go to war in the Middle East. She wants to go to war in China. All at once. She wants to start a world war. Desperately.
Yeah.
And at first I had a hard time believing is like, they can't be this desperate. Like this can't be this obvious. It has to be a misunderstanding until that leaked phone call. There was a leaked phone call between Governor Chris Christie and Governor Ron DeSantis, and Chris Christie was explaining his concern, saying even Nikki Haley doesn't have a snowball's chance in winning.
Yeah.
Against Trump.
I hope not. I really hope not. Because we're in for a world of hurt if she becomes president. And no, it's not just because she's a woman.
Hey, you know who would be a good woman for president? Who's that Georgia governor? Marjorie Taylor Greene, dear.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah,
that woman's got a mouth on her, and I love it.
Yeah, she's a firecracker, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah,
we just need somebody angry and pissed enough at the problems to be president.
Anti-establishment. That's where it's at, because the establishment is the problem.
Because from what I've learned in the last few months, that there are three types of Republicans. There are three types. Well, there are technically four types of Republicans. You got your establishment Republicans, which are the George Bush era of Republicans. Then you got your moderate Republicans, that are Republicans, but they're more liberal when it comes to their policies. And then you got conservative Republicans that are just, hardcore conservatives. And then you got your MAGA Republicans, which are somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they're conservative to a point, but not conservative enough to where it hurts them in the long run. But they're anti-establishment too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like the MAGA Republicans are probably the most genuine, and that's probably where I stand in the Republican Party. Only reason why I'm Republican is because the party fits my views the most compared to the Democrat Party. Not to mention the Democrats have a horrible history and a horrible upbringing that they try so hard to bury.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will say that the one that got canceled was on January 18th. There is supposed to be another one January 21st, same state, different city, and it's supposed to take place at the New England College. So we'll see if that happens. If Nikki and Donald Trump didn't want to participate, I have a feeling they probably won't again. So we may not see any actual debates this year.
There are also,
Which, to be fair, it's a waste of time and money, if I'm being honest.
yeah, I mean, Trump has won every debate just by not showing up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, pretty much. He has his own little thing going on, and then they're like, "Oh, yeah, Donald Trump won." And he's like, "How? He wasn't even there." You tell me.
There's also rumors that Ron DeSantis might be on the same ticket as Nikki Haley as like a VP. There are also strong rumors about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of this bullshit that we're experiencing in politics goes back to kind of obviously money being a big factor, but definitely the two-party system has really screwed a lot of things up.
It really has. I agree with that.
Because people don't know, there's technically 5 parties in the United States, republic/democracy. There's Republicans and Democrats, but there's also Green Party, there's also Independents, and there's also Libertarians.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the first thing to look forward to be September for the general election debates, if we have them. So that's going to be your primary, like whoever's running, whichever Democrat is running against whichever Republican. So it's probably going to end up being Trump versus Biden, or if something happens to Biden, like if he drops out. I heard that he was talking about it. If he drops out and somebody else takes his place, then it's Trump versus whoever.
The problem is the Democrat Party doesn't have anybody to replace him. Really?
No, they do. They've got plenty of people.
Well, not good. The only person I could see the Democrat Party pushing for is Governor Gavin Newsom, only because he fits the criteria. The other Democrats that are running don't really fit that criteria. In fact, one of them's not even, I forget his name, but he was like on some sort of news station or whatever. And he can't even become president because he's not legally a United States citizen. He was born in Turkey and became a United States citizen, but because he's not a born citizen, he can't become president.
Is that Cenk Uygur?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, supposedly Michelle Obama could step in.
Please.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't want Big Mike.
You mean Michael, right?
Big Mike, yeah. So I would prefer not to have that happen.
Dear Lord, not another Obama administration. This country can't take it.
There's also Gavin Newsom who could step in. There's people. It's just none are anywhere close to being better than Biden because they're all crazy.
Oh, there is one.
No offense.
There is one. RFK Jr.
RFK. All right. He's running independent now though. So
yeah, because the Democrats forced him out. They silenced him.
So.
It does suck because here's the deal. Of all the I like RFK Jr. I love a lot of things he has to say. He's also anti-establishment. He's pro-Second Amendment. He's not for shoving vaccines and all this other stuff down your throat. He is, for a Democrat, he is very aware. Now, there are some things that I don't agree with him on. One of them being, what is it called? Reparations. He's very much for reparations, and I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't either. It's not going to get us any further, forward.
It doesn't matter, okay? Everyone's going to hate everybody regardless of how much money you give them. Okay, I will make an argument. The people who had suffered in hardcore Jim Crow era of the United States, or who actually was a slave, they deserve the reparations, not the descendants of them.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're kind of past that,
There's some people around from that Jim Crow era. Not a lot.
I was gonna say very, very few. There's a handful, sure, and
I feel like if the Democrats would have just pushed RFK Jr., that they would actually have a better chance in beating Trump.
Yeah.
But they don't want to because RFK, just like his father before him and just like his uncle before him, went against their own party.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
because of that, they see him as a threat, and they're not going to run with him.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we will have to wait and see how that unfolds. But for now, it's looking like it's definitely going to be Trump on the Republican side.
It
Uh,
freaking better.
so let's see. What was the other thing? A couple of court documents got released. Was it? It's
The
been what, 2 weeks now?
Epstein files. Ooh.
Well, it's not the Epstein files.
Not
It's
yet
just
is part of it. Just it's a little it's like a crumb of the cake. It's a crumb of the cake.
it's just a few court documents of testimony. So it's not even like I guess you could kind of sort of take some of it to heart, but some of it probably shouldn't.
Now, from what you say, you have seen and read part of the documents, but after reading part of it, you couldn't stand to read the rest.
It's just uncomfortable to read.
Too
I mean,
much?
as you can imagine, it's uncomfortable.
It's
Like,
Jeffrey Epstein. We all know what happened.
well, it's recanting what happened to this person who was a underage person at the time, who witnessed certain things happening on not just the island, but also in a lot of his estates with certain individuals. There's three that popped up in the first document, and that was Clinton. I can't remember the other two. One is a big lawyer of some sort, and I can't remember the other person. It's been 2 weeks since it came out.
What are the odds of Bill Gates being associated with Jeffrey Epstein?
Probably up there.
Because there are photos of him and Jeffrey Epstein hanging
Yeah.
out.
There's also pictures of Stephen Hawking, and apparently he was in one of the documents.
How does
Really,
how does that work?
apparently he liked. I don't want to say this is official. I don't know if it's true.
We're not trying to get
But-
sued. This is just our opinions. Take it
Right. Apparently he went to the island, and he enjoyed watching. When I say this, I'm sure you'll understand. Midgets do hardcore math equations on a chalkboard. That was his way of getting off. Weird. And I'm sure you've caught the,
Damn, it must have been some sort of college algebra. Dear Lord. It's
yeah.
how the Stephen Hawking is basically the. I'm not trying to be mean to disabled people, but literally, if you look up the definition of a vegetable, you will see a picture of Stephen Hawking's. He is so disabled and mangled to the point where he is wheelchair bound. And doesn't he have some sort of keypad that speaks for him because he can't even talk anymore?
He did. He's dead, by the way.
Yeah, he's been dead for a while. How would he be I don't know. How would you get associated with somebody like Jeffrey Epstein? How would you do that?
Well, that man associated himself with a lot of power for people, and pretty sure it was on purpose so that he could weasel his way in and try to get as much dirt on, these powerful figures so that he could make, lots of money. And that's kind of what a lot of the, I guess you could say, conspiracy theory about him is that, he did this stuff on purpose to have blackmail against these people so that he could hold his own type of power and wealth over these people. He could call in favors and get money and all of that. So, honestly, I think they're all just sick bastards, but that's just my opinion, I guess.
a lot of people are convinced that Trump was associated with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't, with Trump's character, I really don't see that as a possibility. But then again, I have been surprised before. I really hope that's not the case.
They knew each other, and Trump hasn't denied that, but he ended up barring Jeffrey from like Mar-a-Lago, and then for the most part cut all ties with him because of the way he was acting around like the younger women, and it creeped him out, so he banned him from the property. So if he was in any way, I really don't see it, but I don't
know. Speaking of the Epstein stuff, I went to Texas for the weekend and I talked to some cousins I haven't talked to in a while. And they actually told me this because I told them, yeah, I was planning on doing a podcast and I definitely wanted to talk about the Epstein documents and what has been released, because I'm like a kid on Christmas. I'm waiting for that full list to come out. I want to know.
Yeah.
I need to know who sick bastards are on there. But
the big thing to keep in mind is not all of the names you see are people that were necessarily clientele. Some of them could have been like housekeepers. Some of them could be victims. So that's something to keep in mind.
I hope the files, when it's all released, it specifies on that, like who was involved with what.
It would be nice if they say, you know, hey, this was victim A name, or if it's a victim, honestly, I would leave their name off unless they're comfortable with it being out there.
The victims do and they don't matter. They do matter because obviously they need help and they need to have justice brought to them. But at the same time, they don't need to be associated with the list. The list is not the point of getting the victims' names out there. It's about getting the criminals' names out there.
Yeah, getting the perpetrators' names out there so we can have justice and, you know, get these people out of the positions that they are in.
But
so,
as I was saying, apparently this whole Epstein list being released has something been in the works for years. Like, this is something that hasn't been decided overnight. Like, it has been planned for like the last few years, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm not on the internet waiting for certain stuff like this. I just found out, I was like, oh shit, the list is about to drop? Shit, I'm gonna wait for that. But apparently, this list was announced to be released several years ago. Like 2019, 2020. And apparently...
2020.
This is what my cousins told me. And after that, Tom Hanks found out about that. And he immediately moved out of the United States and became a Greek citizen.
Hang on, I gotta look this up.
I was shocked, and I Googled it. When I got home. I was like, son of a bitch, it's true. He moved out of the United States and became a Greek citizen as soon as this shit was mentioned. He got the
That's interesting. Apparently, he just married Rita Wilson.
Oh, he did?
Oh, wait. I have no idea. That's weird.
Did he remarry? Because I swear he's been married for a long time.
Maybe that's just the title. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, he moved... in 2020, he moved with his wife, Rita Wilson. Okay, so they've been married. According to this, it says the pedophilia claim is false, so...
I mean, it kind of lines up with the timeline, I'm just saying.
He does have Greek ancestry, and he joined the Greek Orthodox Church in 1988 upon marrying his wife. So he's been associated with Greece for a long time, so I guess that doesn't really surprise me that he would have went there. So, but anyway, yeah,
it's just I don't know, like it's kind of hard to kind of ignore, because a lot of these conspiracy theorists have been right about a lot of things recently. And that's what's terrifying a lot of people. I mean, people could say it's a coincidence, but I mean, yes, he was associated with these people, and having Greek ancestry. But why would he choose around the time that the list was being prepared to be released to the public, and then that's when you decide to move out of the country?
It's suspicious.
I mean,
Sure.
when you look at it how it is like, man, this guy really moved out of the country so he can't be prosecuted by the court system, because that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people will do. I don't know. You know the Vanos gaming crew, right?
No.
Well, they're the big group in YouTube, and then one of those guys that was part of the crew was called Minilad or whatever, and he got associated with some pedophilia stuff or whatever. And when all these people had came out against him, he literally moved back to Ireland to avoid being punished by the American court systems.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, he moved back to Ireland with his parents. It's Ireland or Scotland, one or the other.
I feel like they should, deep, I forget what that is called, extradition. I feel like Ireland should extradite him for those crimes if there were crimes committed. Like, that's not something to play around with.
I'm just saying, if you're innocent, that doesn't help your case. Like, why would
No.
Tom Hanks moved out of the country around the time they talked about releasing this list to the public? Kind of suspicious. Just like how Minilad, when all these people have come up and accused him of these things, all of a sudden he moves to somewhere else.
Yeah, but it could be just, causation versus correlation type situation. Like,
I mean, Tom Hanks has enough money; he can live wherever he wants.
that's true.
He has endless resources for the most part.
Yeah.
It just to me, it's just kind of weird that he chose to move around the same time that the list was announced.
Sure.
It just makes him look bad, because it's a lot of these Hollywood people that are. It's only these Hollywood people that are freaking out about the list. Whoopi Goldberg, Jimmy Kimmel, they're all throwing a fit because people have tossed the idea around. Just an idea. Not actual hardcore facts or proof, but just the idea that they are on the list.
Yeah.
Has caused them to freak out.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, to an extent, I kind of get it. Like, if there's a false claim that you were on the list, and you're like, whoa. Like, I can sort of understand, like, to a small degree, I would just be like, I'm not. Like, I don't understand what the thing is. Like, okay, it's a big rumor. I'm a big famous person. Maybe if you knew Jeffrey, that would make even more sense to, like, point the finger. But, like, just be like, look, I'm not. I had no associate. Just something small. Not blow up and, like, start tweeting just crazy stuff. But
yeah, they threatened him. I forget the guy's name. He's some sort of NFL quarterback or whatever. He was on
Rodgers,
something.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, he was on ESPN, and he was talking about this, and it's then Jimmy Kimmel throws a fit and threatens to drag him through court. I mean, it's just
sure.
I mean, if you are innocent, that's not helping. You're threatening a guy, dragging him to court because you're the one acting like you're guilty. I'm not saying you are guilty, but you're kind of acting like it. Whoopi Goldberg did the same thing too, because the people apparently have been making a bunch of memes. I haven't seen the memes, but apparently
I haven't either.
People have been making a bunch of memes about Whoopi Goldberg being on the list or being associated with Jeffrey Epstein and being on the island.
The biggest one that I saw, and it was somebody had circulated the flight logs, which was shortly after Epstein passed away. Supposedly they were, like, leaked flight logs, so whether you can trust it or not, I don't know. But one of the big names on there was Jim Carrey, and I was just like, whoa, hang on, what? That's
The Jim
I don't know. The Jim Carrey, yeah. And I thought that was really odd, so I don't know. Until an official list drops, though, I'm not gonna really judge or condemn a person until I see their name on an official document. And even then, it's kind of like, they've had this list how long? They've had it long enough to doctor it? I don't know.
It's just... Do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was killed in prison?
No. No.
I don't believe he.
No.
I don't believe he committed suicide. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because if there are really as many powerful people associated with Jeffrey Epstein, I mean, it wouldn't take a lot for someone to silence him.
Yeah.
Like, take someone as Bill Gates, for example. Bill Gates is a friendly person on the outside, but we don't know what he's like during his personal life. Not to mention, he's got billions of dollars. He could pay somebody on the inside, to put Mr. Epstein to sleep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that whole situation, if you remember, it's very suspicious. The cameras quit working. The guards fell asleep or something like that, and the pictures from inside the room don't look. It just looks really, really suspicious. And then on top of all of that, the icing on the cake is the coroner saying like the injuries look nothing like what a hanging would be. Like if you did that, you hung yourself. It looks more like strangulation, like someone strangled him. So like, there you go. So open an investigation and find out who did it.
I'm pretty sure he was murdered. It's just he was associated with too many powerful people. It wouldn't surprise me that just to make sure he wouldn't talk. Because here's the deal: even though Jeffrey Epstein got caught, he had a lot of names associated with him that he could easily throw underneath the bus to try to save himself.
Sure.
So it wouldn't take much for one of these multi-billionaires associated with him to put him to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a feeling the chick that went to jail, Maxine Giswell, or... No. They weren't married. At least I don't think they were. But yeah, Maxine, I have a feeling she knows a lot that she probably hasn't said. Maybe for her own safety.
I mean, because there's someone saying that Jeffrey Epstein's wife was in prison too.
I don't think they were married.
I don't know. Somebody married or a significant other to Jeffrey Epstein took place in these island activities. That's just what I'm going to call them. Has also been put in prison too.
Yeah, they were. Hang on. They were romantic partners, but not married. Yeah. But,
I mean, if she knows anything, she's probably staying quiet just so she doesn't end up like Epstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a feeling Epstein was planning on spilling the beans to try to lower his prison sentence or try to get him out of jail, and then someone overheard and just...
Yeah. Oh, some other names that were mentioned. This one, I actually was not surprised because I had heard some stuff about him. That was Prince Andrew.
Who's Prince Andrew again?
He's part of the royal family, or he was part of the royal family.
The British royal family?
Yeah, like Queen of England, all that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Another name, David Copperfield. That one is not one that I would have guessed.
The famous magician?
Yeah. Really weird.
Didn't he die in one of his escape acts?
Maybe?
David Copperfield's not alive, is he?
I don't think so.
All these famous escape artists always die because of them. Would not expect David Copperfield. Oh, David Copperfield himself out of that situation.
Let's see. I'm actually looking. It looks like there is a list.
Is the list finally out? Can we be the first ones to talk about the list?
I doubt we'd be the first, but
I don't know. I haven't heard anyone else talking about it. I'll change the title right now.
This list includes many of the accusers, victims, as well as people only tangential connections to Epstein, who were pulled into the lawsuit against Maxwell. So that would be Ghislaine Maxwell, that's her name. Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, David Copperfield, Johnny Connolly, Alan Dershowitz. That's the one I couldn't remember. He's a lawyer. Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore, Richard Branson, who's a British billionaire. Stephen Hawking. We talked about that one earlier.
Still don't know why, but oh well.
Ehud Barak, Michael Jackson, Marvin Minsky.
Michael Jackson kind of makes sense. There were a lot of rumors throughout the. Wasn't Michael Jackson accused throughout the 1980s of being a pedophile?
Not just the 80s. It went on for a long time. Most of them came out to be false. So I don't know. Let's see. Kevin Spacey, George Lucas,
Lucas. God damn.
Jean-Luc Brunel. He's the one I remember hearing about him. He was a co-conspirator, alleged, who died in a apparent suicide while awaiting trial. So, yeah.
Guarantee the Clintons are behind this.
Kate Blanchett, Naomi Campbell, Heidi Klum, Sharon Churcher, Bruce Willis, Bianca Jagger, wife of Mick Jagger. That's interesting. Bill Richardson, Cameron Diaz. Oh my God, there's so... I'm not going to keep reading because there's so many names. Holy crap.
A lot of famous names?
A lot of famous names, yeah.
Tom Hanks on the list?
Tom Hanks? Let me see. I'll just do a quick scroll through. There's a Tom Lyons. I don't see him. Another Tom Pritzker. Yeah, I don't see his name, so.
Hillary Clinton. Was she on the island? Well, not surprised me.
Actually, there's an old photo of her and Bill on one of the... There's a picture of them at a cabin, and this cabin is on that island. But there's also a picture of the Queen of England on that island at the same cabin. So, do with what...
Man, everyone's just a dirtbag. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that everybody that went there knew what was going on.
What was besides the whole Jeffrey Epstein pedophile shit, what else was he famous for? Why was so many famous multi-billionaires and successful people associated with Epstein? Like, what was he?
I don't know.
Because other than being a pedophile, like... I mean, what else was he famous for? I know he was a successful businessman. He made a lot of money. I don't know what in. I don't know. I don't know
his past. No, he wasn't an actor. He's just, I don't know, he's well-connected and all that. But anyway, I would like to move on. I don't like talking about this stuff. It genuinely makes me sick to my stomach to even think about it.
You're already sick too, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I was already not feeling great today.
Man, that is crazy.
It's been very, very cold here, and I think that has not helped my situation. I worked yesterday. I went into work today and got sick to my stomach, and they told me to go home. Well, I kind of asked to go home, and they're like, yeah, you probably should. I threw up in a box, if that tells you anything.
Call that Amazon Prime.
So yeah. No, I haven't been feeling great today. But anyway, moving on. One is really not a big thing, but getting away from all the politics and stuff. I guess it's still political in a sense, but Um, something that's kind of happened is localizers for anime have been intentionally misinterpreting or redoing the translations for these animes that are coming over and basically injecting quote unquote woke crap into the original content. So they're replacing something with I can't really give you a good example, but that's what they're doing. They're basically taking the original, editing it, and putting in their own political messaging. And I've seen a few examples, and it's kind of really dumb. And one of the persons who is responsible for it got called out, and she just, I don't know. It's like she doesn't care at all. So, and I'm not surprised. These people that do this stuff intentionally, they don't care. They don't care if they get caught. They don't care if they get called out. There's no repercussion for them. Well, the repercussion is that now they're going to be using AI to replace these people who are intentionally doing this. So there's your repercussion. If you don't want to do things, how they were meant to be portrayed, they replace you with AI to do the localization, more true to the original art. So I don't watch anime all that much anymore. Like, I'll watch old school stuff every once in a while.
I've been watching Attack on Titans with girlfriend.
Cool.
The last 2 seasons finally got dubbed to English, so I'm excited for that.
Cool. Yeah, I don't really watch that much, but I just thought this was an interesting thing that was happening. I actually saw the video of Asmongold kind of going over it, and I was just like, that's weird. And I don't really watch much of his content. I just happened to see it, and I was like, what? So, it's just, I don't know, it's just really weird. Like, if you're going to translate something, make it how it's actually supposed to be interpreted, and not something to fill your little void,
You remember Ghost Stories? That was a hilarious translation.
It was a messed up translation.
Here's the deal. If people were doing it like that as a joke, that'd be funny. Okay, that's justified.
I was going to say, there was a reason it was done like that, because they couldn't, I don't remember if they couldn't afford it or what, so they just went with it. And it was hilarious.
The anime was released in Japan. It horribly flopped, so they were trying to sell it to the cheapest guys who are willing to dub it. So I think that's how the story goes. It was an unsuccessful anime, and then they sold it to the cheapest people who would dub it.
Yeah.
Which, that was hilarious. I'm a terrible person, but I told girlfriends, like, hey, I know you like the lighthearted animes and stuff like that. You should really look into Ghost Stories. It's a really educational and fun anime to watch. Very wholesome. I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not so much. It's funny, though. It is very funny. I mean, that's it for that one. The only other one I think I got for you is something I saw that, I don't really see a whole lot of international news. Well, okay, I guess it's 2 in 1. Apparently we are now at war with the Houthi, or however they pronounce their name, because they attacked one of our ships or something.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. They attacked an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, so now we're another step closer to World War III. I'm
gonna get drafted and get marked. I ain't gonna. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem fighting for my country. I ain't gonna make it though. I ain't gonna make it.
I'll take your legs. We can make it official this time. They won't. They probably won't take you. You never thought I'd take your legs to save your life.
What a great and shitty thing to do at the same time.
But so there's that.
I got some internet news. I don't know if anybody knows this woman. I cannot respect her to save my life. Have you heard of a content creator by the name of Amaranth?
Amaranth? Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh
I
my
don't.
god, this woman has she has done so many things. Okay, at first I felt bad with the whole domestic husband or whatever, the abusive husband or whatever, basically forcing her to do all this sexual stuff for the internet, like cleavage and hot tub streams and OnlyFans. I felt bad because there are some people trapped in those relationships. And apparently it turns out to be a lie because she's still willingly doing this. In fact, she had publicly released that she made over 50, almost $60 million in OnlyFans within a few years.
Jesus Christ.
That's only in OnlyFans. That's not Twitch or, like, I think Kick, the upcoming streaming platform that I'm on, I really recommend you should get on Kick. Kick is better. But they offered her like a $25 million contract or whatever for her to stream on their platform just because they can bring her audience over. And she's also making a beer out of her vaginal yeast too. And the only reason why she's doing it is because she knows her fans would buy it.
That's disgusting.
I know, it's...
No. No. Why? Like, first Belle Delphine's bathwater, now vaginal yeast beer. That's disgusting.
I don't know. I don't know who I feel more disappointed in. Do I feel disappointed in Amaranth for thinking this was a good idea, or do I feel disappointed in the fact that there are people that are probably going to buy it only because that's the closest you will get to a sexual experience with her?
Or a woman in general.
It just frustrates. She's doing a lot of shitty things, and do you know how that whole Twitch nudity policy or whatever, where people all they had to do was put black bars over their nipples and their crotch, and they can basically be fully naked on stream? Guess who was the first one to do it? Her. It proves. I am convinced that whole abusive husband story was just a lie. It was an absolute lie. Because
it could have been.
If you were forced to do this, why would you continue to do this? Yep.
Yeah.
You're lying.
I mean, money.
You did all this just to justify yourself doing it, and now you're still doing it because you're making millions of dollars doing it. It's just, ugh.
I was gonna say that if the money is good, it's probably kind of hard to quit. You know, especially if money from the other platforms doesn't even come close to what you can make doing that. I don't agree with it. I don't think she should be doing it. I think she should rethink her life choices.
It's bad. But it's bad for younger women who look up to this. This is a violent.
Definitely. Although I doubt there's very many that do.
Here's the deal with
my opinion.
my whole deal with OnlyFans. If you're gonna do OnlyFans, do it. Just. I'm mad at her for being on Twitch because Twitch is a platform. All you have to do is be 13 years old and you can watch whatever. There's no age limits or restrictions on Twitch. So kids can find this easily and be exposed to it.
Right.
But she doesn't care because she's making bank off of it. And the reason why I'm talking about this now is because Twitch is pretty much... I don't think they're going to make it till the end of the year before filing for bankruptcy. They already shut down their servers in South Korea.
Yeah.
They've laid off like 1,000-something employees within the last 2 years.
I mean, to be fair, Twitch is what, Amazon owned and operated?
Well, here's the deal. Amazon has basically just abandoned Twitch. Like, after buying it, Amazon hasn't done much. A lot of people can even claim that Twitch has only become shitty because Amazon bought it.
I mean, that might be true. To be fair, though, if they didn't buy it, somebody else would have, or it would have just stopped existing, because I think that's why the original creator sold it anyways, because they didn't have any profit. There was no... It just wasn't, feasible for them to keep doing it. So they took their cash and ran. And honestly, I'm fine with it crashing, going away. I'm fine with it. YouTube apparently is probably not going to be around much longer either, and I think that's why a lot of the big YouTubers are leaving, because they know something's
writing's on
coming
the wall.
around. Yeah, yeah, it seems that way.
Kind of
Which
sucks. I
is,
picked the worst time to start.
I know, right?
This is why I need Kick and Rumble to succeed. Kick and Rumble need to
Yeah,
succeed badly because I don't. I mean, I get around the Kick's negative attention. It's owned by a gambling website involved in the cryptocurrency. They use crypto coins to gamble millions of dollars, and that's what's funding the platform. I mean,
yeah,
well, at this point, you kind of got to look at it both ways. Do you support a platform that's basically showing nudity to kids, or do you support a platform being funded by hardcore gamblers? I mean, kind of got the lesser of two evils here.
pick your poison, man. Pick your poison. I don't know. It is kind of weird. That's why I'm kind of like not necessarily for it. Uh, but at the same time, at least they're trying, I guess.
I support Kick. I'm a very petty person. I'm not gonna lie. Just Kick was born out of spite, and
Yeah,
I want to personally thank Pokimane. I want to thank her. Thank you, because you are the reason to Twitch's downfall. You single-handedly allowed the birth of Kick, the platform that is going to bury Twitch.
yeah. We'll
Be-
see.
because people don't understand, like, Pokimane made this because the two guys who founded Kick or whatever, they were streaming their slot games from their gambling website on Twitch to promote it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
Pokimane came out publicly on Twitter. And I hate platforms. Don't get me wrong. Take your biggest streamers, your biggest content creators' opinions in perspective. Don't actually do it. Because Pokimane flat out said, yeah, we need to ban gambling off the platform. And what happened? Those guys lost their channels. And what happened as a result? They created Kick out of spite. And now Kick has not only proven to be a true competitor to Twitch, it is causing Twitch to bleed. So many people are dumping Twitch to go to Kick.
yeah.
And Kick
I
is
mean,
the only ones being fair to content creators. A 95 to 5% revenue split. Minimum requirements to make $16 an hour. And all you have to do is follow a certain set of guidelines. And they're not going to restrict your content. You just got to follow basic internet rules. Like, you can't get more fair than that.
yeah. See, I'm not a streamer though, so it wouldn't really work for me.
I
You
like
know,
streaming because, like, like the games you gave me, like God of War and Resident Evil, those are good games
yeah,
to stream because they're long story games. You can just stream them instead of having to make full blown episodes out of them. It's easier to stream story based games. I encourage you to get into streaming. It's really fun, especially getting to interact with your audience live.
I
That's
just
my
don't have
favorite
the
part.
time for it. I barely have time to actually make any, just like 1 hour video, let alone sit for 4 hours and
We are behind on Terraria. We are like 2
I
episodes
know,
behind.
I'm aware.
Yeah,
Uh,
part of it is my fault. I am sorry for that.
I mean, I've just been waiting on you, buddy. You gotta
Hey,
let me know when you're ready. So,
these
um,
last couple of weeks have been brutal. Like this whole winter storm has been killing me.
yeah.
So many of my high
Well,
production wells are down because of it. Like my manager went out there and he got done breaking out a bunch of ice because our gas sales meter was completely frozen.
oh yeah,
So,
yeah. That's gotta be really tough to deal with.
and the worst part is I understand why they're doing it. At the same time, I don't understand why they're doing it. Is
Yeah.
I start my days at 3 in the morning, so I can be done at like 3 in the afternoon. It gives me time to do shit. But here's the
Yeah.
deal: they're not letting me leave the house until the sun is up.
For safety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I understand it to a point, and I don't understand it to a point because it's inconveniencing me. Luckily, a lot of my wells are turned off, and as long as they stay turned off, I can manage with the time. But at the same time, if all my wells are running, then at minimum I'm working a 12-hour day. So if I start at 7 and I end at 7, I'm going to be ending in the dark.
Right.
So
But
it's just hard to
well,
be consistent.
yeah, I understand that. I know I worked yesterday in the warehouse. The warehouse has no heat.
Dear
So
Lord.
it was very cold back there. The only thing that kept me warm was the fact that I just kept moving. So I get it. Um, that's probably, like I said, probably has something to do with why I don't feel very good today.
You gonna stay home tomorrow to try to heal?
No, I think I'll feel all right. I got medicine and everything,
Drink some mint
but
juice.
I do. The one last thing that I wanted to go over, and this is the one that I was like saying, we don't normally cover things that have happened overseas, but this kind of caught my attention, and it's just something to keep in mind, especially if like you're an American citizen and this happens. It's just something to keep in mind. If it was specifically police, or if it was kind of like all across the board, I don't really know a whole lot of the details. But I know it was like around $100, and the people thought it was some sort of new tax. Well, officials came out and say, "Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa! It was a glitch. We're working it out. We're trying to figure it out." Well, things de-escalated very quickly. um, there were riots and looting. I'm sure that sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here in America, we know a thing or two about that. It happens
Yeah,
like every other day.
mostly peaceful protests. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, peaceful
the
uh, civil rights activist movements, peaceful like that.
Yeah. Well, these riots and such led to the death of 16 people, so that's not great. But
Sounds familiar.
I guess the one reason I kind of wanted to just briefly talk about it is it's something to keep in mind. To keep an eye on your paycheck, as it's coming in. Because you just never know what your government's going to try to do. I'm not claiming that Papua New Guinea's government did it intentionally. It very well could have just been a glitch in their payroll system. Um, but you just never know. So
Yeah,
that is all I had to talk about.
got my
So
tax return in. Made 10 grand more than I did last year, so I'm pretty happy about that.
that's nice.
Yep.
I haven't gotten my papers yet, so it's a little early. I
Hey,
usually get my stuff around February.
the earlier the better. The sooner I can file, the sooner I'll get it.
Right.
But
But
I think that's all I wanted to talk about. It's just I'm really hoping. Don't get me wrong, I love Twitch, and I will always appreciate the good times I had with it. But I'm still angry. It screwed me out of an episode. I still need to replay an entire game because I can't go back to certain spawn points. I was playing a game called The Final Station, and Twitch gives you a 2-week gap to download your videos. It's like, okay, I'm going to stream this. I'm going to come back in a couple days when I'm off to download it. Well, I come back in like 2 or 3 days and the video's gone.
yeah,
And I can't go back to a certain point in the game without restarting the whole game.
that's frustrating.
And ever since then, I haven't streamed on Twitch until recently when I announced Project 2024. Which, yes, I have been slacking, but the winter weather has been making it just too difficult to do anything.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to make time to do this. I'm really trying to make time to do this stuff. It's just like there's just other stuff outside the internet that I need to get done first before I can hop on a computer.
yeah, I understand. I have a hard time finding the time, and I really do want to jump on and finish my Final Fantasy VII series. I'd really like to finish it up. Um, and I'd like to do that and then start a new series. But it's really hard to find the time, and doing it in hour intervals kind of sucks, especially with the longer hour games. Which I know I've seen a lot of creators. What they'll do is they'll film the whole thing, and then they'll just cut it down into sections, and then they'll just post, part one, part two, part three, instead of how I do it, where I'm actually filming each individual part separately, which
You should
I don't know.
stream. You should stream Final Fantasy VII. That would be a good game to stream, though.
Maybe. I
Instead
don't
of
know.
having to record and upload and do all that sort of stuff, you could just broadcast it live.
Maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah, isn't like Final Fantasy like how long is that game?
not super long. Oh, excuse me. It depends on if you do all the extra content and stuff.
Just the main story. How long would you say the main story is?
I don't know. 20 hours?
Well, that's not bad. And doing all the extra side quest.
That you're looking. Okay, so. Remake. Hang on. Okay. So according to this, it's 37 hours for the main story. And then for all of the extra content plus main story, it's 51 hours. And then if you're going for like a completionist run, you're looking at 84 hours.
Damn.
Yeah. So, it can be a very long game.
You're looking forward to that, like, you're telling me about it was like a Final Fantasy game they're going to release soon?
Yes. It's actually the second part of the Final Fantasy VII remake, so that they're dropping it in 3 sections. So the first one was remake, so that's been out. The second part is coming out next month. I'm treating myself as my birthday gift for it. It's called Rebirth.
When's your birthday, my guy?
I will text it to you.
You'll text it to me? Okay. We can't give away Devin's secrets. Not all.
Not all of them.
Gotta have some sort of mystery.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, my face isn't mysterious enough.
Yeah, just don't take off the hat because you're gonna cause lighting issues.
I will blind every watcher. The shine. The shine. But
man,
anyway.
Man, the year's been just off to a crazy start.
Yeah, we thought the last 3 years were crazy. This year's already popping off with something else. I tell you what.
It's starting off pretty sad. There's a lot of big YouTubers leaving. And it's upsetting, like Matt Pat being the biggest one, because I loved Game Theorist. I watched almost every Game Theorist episode that come out. And he made it very clear the channel's not dying. He's just not going to be the main star of it anymore.
Yeah, somebody else is going to step in and take his place.
At the same time.
That's fine. I'm happy for him to go spend time with his wife and kids. Like,
oh yeah,
dude, that's more important.
Like, props to him for doing that. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be Game Theorist without Matt Pat. I mean, Matt Pat kind of made it what it is today. It's kind of hard seeing. What's a big TV show that you watch? Like the most important TV show that you watched throughout your life. It could be anything. Off the top of your head.
I can't say I ever had an important one. I watched a lot of stuff growing up, and they all had their impact on my life because back in the day it was important to teach life lessons. Like Boy Meets World, I guess, might be a good example. That was a very good show, and there were a lot of very important life lessons you could learn in that show. Like, aside from all of the humor and the joking around, there were serious things. I think I resonated a little more with Sean than I did with Corey. So,
but let's say you got halfway through the show's lifespan and they changed the main character. I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow. It's kind of something hard to get used to. It's why I stopped watching a lot of YouTubers, is because of these big changes they make. And a lot of them is just like popular MMOs. We talked a little bit about him on the show. He was a popular Minecraft YouTuber, and a lot of it to do was because of his marriage with super girly gamer Jen. And after they got divorced, his channel basically tanked as a result, to the point where he is more or less forced into retirement.
Yeah.
It was too much of a change for everybody, and one of
That
my
is unfortunate.
that's why I'm whole scared about the whole YouTube relationship kind of deal. I mean, if the audience is there for both of you and one of you leaves, then there goes part of your audience. It's kind of a gamble. It's why I also stopped watching a content creator by the name of Lance Stewart. He was a popular Viner back in the day, and after the fallout he had with his girlfriend Lizzie, and I just couldn't watch it. And then he did some douchey stuff afterwards that just made me quit him cold turkey. And then there's also another one. We talked about him, I think, in the first podcast. I think his name was Tom. His name was Tomcat, and he transitioned. He went from guy to girl, and it was too much of a change because I kind of stopped watching him for like 6 months to a year because he made like race car games, like Forza, Need for Speed, and Snow Runner, that style of games. And I like that because I like video games with big trucks and fast cars and stuff like that. And I kind of stopped watching him, and then I started watching him, and I was like, why is his voice changed? Because he took away his face camera. I was like, he always has face cam on. But his voice sounded not really feminine, but really annoying. Like a really high-pitched anime. Like a guy from an anime. Like a high-pitched little boy from an anime show. And then he did a live stream, and then I saw what he looked like, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that explains it. There you go.
And I didn't say anything. I just unsubscribed from everything and just left.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not...
No, I get it.
I'm for the guy because he says he's doing this for mental health and he just wants to be the best version of himself. I can understand that for a point, but just don't take it so badly when a lot of people you thought were big supporters just up and leave. They're there for you. And if you're turning into something that we don't know, then you can't... You just up and leave. It's just, I'm not trying to disrespect the guy because I want him to be the best version of himself if this really does help him. I mean, props to him. But at the same time, I'm not going to stick around because you're not the guy who I fell in love with. You're not the guy who I constantly watched. You're not the guy who I was waiting for every fucking weekend for a Spin Tires mod review so I can go download that mod and play it myself. You're not the same person anymore. You're somebody else.
Right.
And it's kind of...
I get it.
It's a shitty thing as a fan because you want to support your creators, but at the same time, it's just too much of a change for me. It's like... And it's not with just transitioning, it's just... I mean, when your wife or girlfriend leaves and she kind of made you who you are, it's just kind of hard to watch afterwards. It's depressing.
Yeah.
So it just... I am glad Matt Pat's leaving on a high note because he made it very clear that he wants to leave on a high note instead of all these other big YouTubers who just fall off of relevancy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it really going to be game theorist or food theorist or style theorist or film theorist without Matt Pat? Is it really still going to be the same? Only time can tell. From at least what I've seen, it's not going to be the same. It's probably going to be exactly. Exactly, you summed it up.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it like I said earlier, it's weird. I feel like a lot of them know something's coming. A lot of changes are coming, and some of them they're probably just they've been doing it for a long time and they're ready to just
Matt Pat was like
throw the towel in.
Almost in his 40 something years old. And he made it very clear.
I have no idea.
He didn't want to do it forever. I mean, in my mind, it's like, fuck, I would love to do YouTube forever. Like, making videos is my passion. Why would I want to give that up? At the same time, it's different. I don't think he ever expected his channel to grow into this giant thing. And, I mean, it is scary.
It's a job. It becomes a full-time job where you're having to plan everything out. You're having to coordinate stuff. And it is eat, sleep, and drink your business that you have created in these videos. So that's why a lot of people probably don't understand when they first get started in this. Like, even with this podcast, we don't always have, like, coordination and stuff, and that's something we've got to work on. But, like, this is stuff that we need to be going back and forth, if we want to build it. it's something we got to go back and forth on and be a little better prepared and have more coordination and stuff like that. But that's what these guys do. They take it to a professional business level because that's what they've built. It is a business. It's not just a fun little hobby. They're treating it like a business. So when you pour your heart and soul into it for so long, and in Matt Pat's like position, like I said, he's got a wife and kids that he needs to spend time with, and he even addressed it. Like, all he's doing is like they're eating dinner and all they're talking about is essentially work, what, the next video, ideas for content, instead of, hey, what can we go do this weekend for fun,
Yeah, supposedly
so
March 9th will be his last video, I believe.
yeah. But hey, I gotta get off here. I gotta go take care of my dog and get ready for bed. So
Yeah. Well, this was a little bit of a shorter episode, but we more or less cobbled it together. We weren't really prepared, and things happened to... We probably would have been prepared, but, life gets in the way of some things, and we can't always do what we want whenever we want, but... Hey, that's life. If you guys enjoyed this live stream of the situation, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that post notification bell. Share this live stream, well, now a video by the time you're watching this, to a friend. And, we will try to do better with the timing. It's just, a lot of stuff has happened. But a lot of it is my fault. I took a trip to Texas on short notice. So it's...
not my fault.
Devin's excused for once.
Yeah.
But anyways, love you guys, and we'll see you again in the next live stream.
Thanks everybody for watching. Hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Bye-bye.